Hey, how's it going? So I am gonna, did I? Wait. Yes, I have cards. I'm gonna read some cards. Um, and then, well, before I do that, I'm gonna let you look at my signs, please. Particularly this portion here. Oh, I'm facing the wrong direction. Sorry. I'll try to get closer. I'm not doing this very well. Hold on. Here we go. This portion on the end with the arrows. Because I usually have more to say. Pardon me. Shoot, there's always more to say. I always get done and then I'm like, oh, I should have said that. I should have read that. I saw it. I didn't say anything. I'll get there. Still figuring this out. So, yeah, I pulled 3 cards. One from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck, and it's the oyster card, and the icon at the top there indicates that it is a water element card, so water energy. More later, hold on. And then 2, I pulled 2 from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck. Come on now, stop there. Like, this loud ass jacket seems to be oh, never mind. Anyway, this deck, oh my goodness, stop reflecting like that. Can you see it? Well, I hope that you can see it. This loud ass hoodie is like affecting. It's like reflecting on the camera or something. I don't know. There was something weird that I could see that you probably couldn't. Anyway, from that deck, I pulled 2 cards. The first was the number 30 card, Horseman, Herald of Change. Just gonna look at that. Looks very morning there for some reason. Although, I just had the thought that I think I have just dramatic sun-ups and sundowns and moonshines and things on the brain. But yeah, I think this is a morning thing. And it's Horseman, and it has the subtitle Herald of Change. Did I say that? Okay, and then the other card I pulled was the number 13 card, Dream Thief, and the subtitle is Refusal of the Call. Okay. Which, I pulled these cards with the intent, like I actually pulled them on something directly, and it has been, whoa. that came out wrong. Well, anyway, it was like a directed pull. So, on about, like cancel culture and the phrase, I don't believe it. I don't believe in that. Maybe I don't believe it, but definitely I don't believe in that. Like, specifically something that, like, maybe I or you believe that someone says, I don't believe in that. Which is so dismissive. Like, it really, it need not change your world that someone would say that. And it might not even be about something like deeply important to you, but on the other hand, it might be something deeply important to you. And so, I don't know, like sometimes we mouth out loud in the head thoughts when, like a lot of times we'll say stuff and we don't really realize the impact of what we're saying on people. And it doesn't even matter, I'm finding, how well you know them or not. And and then I had to look at myself and say, do I do that? It doesn't matter how well you know them or not. They might not tell you that what you said made them feel some kind of way, and if it were an okay way to make somebody feel, I wouldn't be talking about it. There's just something to that we're so easily, and we're so able to easily just doesn't matter, unimportant. And this is just my perception of it. And it's a little different from the cancel thing. Maybe it's a lot different. Because here's my perception of cancel culture. Someone claims they're canceled. And yet, I'm hearing about it. How does that work? You're canceled exactly how? And then it's or they'll say, "Oh, I'm being gagged. I'm not allowed to speak." Yet again, I am hearing about it somehow. So I don't know. Words have meaning, I guess. It's what I'm saying. And the cancel thing is such a obvious, to me, manifestation of somebody doesn't like me, okay? And unfortunately, in this world, we have stuttering social media, where people that you more than likely are not gonna know. Wow, that was bad placement. I'm sorry, my light is just reflecting right off my glasses in not a good way. Hold on a second. Oh, you little... I hate this thing. No, I really like you a lot. Can you just... How long do you have to own something that you use every day before the cord gets supple? This thing just wants to go wherever it wants to go. And that does not work for me. Oh my goodness. I don't want to forget what I was saying. So, we have social media, which means that all kinds of people that really are probably not going to know you can have an opinion and voice it where you're going to see it on social media, or else people are going to be talking about it. And I understand how difficult it can be to put the phone down and step away from the laptop or whatever your device is that you... There, that's better. That you're obsessing over. That whatever the device is that you're obsessing over the social media on with whatever, You got some kind of thing that... It's not your friend. It's going to say stuff that's going to make you feel bad, and we know it. And then we just go back to it. Does everyone in the world have the addictive personality? Well, I know that's not true. Not everyone does. Forget them people. They're not normal. They're not average. So, I just wanted to say that, okay, a person that is really not, bound and gagged and thrown down a well, never to be seen or heard from again, you're not that. Can you just, focus? And I feel like this makes me sad, but I feel like people take something I've been canceled, and make money from it. Why? I don't even understand that. I wouldn't pay for it. I mean, especially because it's just free, and I can't, get away from it unless I literally turn off everything and don't look at things that interest me. It's that pervasive because the people sometimes are that prominent. For example, come on, decorum. Yeah, right. I mean, I can have some. I don't need to. It's not about me. I was kind of wanting to segue into the criminal ex-president that's currently being he's at trial. He's the Wait, is he the defendant? Oh, I'm all confused. All those hours of Law and Order, and I can't remember what I'm talking about. Well, he's the one on trial, and he used to be the president here in America. And I had a funny thought, like, he was saying, this has never happened to anyone before, and that's the truest thing that man has ever said. None of our presidents have been caught and criminally indicted and put under trial for committing crimes. They got busted committing. So he was right about that. He's true social on that one. And he is the biggest canceled, gagged person that you cannot shut up. So, words have meaning again. And boy, that guy is the king of telling people white is black, night is day. He just, but with the ability to get them to not question. Don't question what I'm saying. Don't look it up. Don't do your research on that one. Just like, how come they don't see holes in the plot? I don't get that. Like, why? I guess the whole, all the news is fake except the news we like. That's, to me, is totally fake, because I do, see, wait, is that the only opinion on that? Because that sounds whack. I do go look and see if these people are talking out of their other than face holes. So, and I don't listen to people that tell me don't look at that. Really? Don't look at it? Where is it? Now I gotta look at it. That's how I am. So, I can't even say I don't understand it anymore, because I kind of do, not in a clinical way, but just that way where, I often say that, people are all on different consciousness levels, but that is what kind of gets between people understanding each other, and then once you get to, if you keep elevating levels, it's it probably appears like you just don't care about stuff that you used to care about, things and people. And it's not that, it's just that you have a different perspective on it, and you see it differently. Once I started taking you make your own reality seriously, I began to understand that that's what separates us, is us making our own realities, but also the realities we make, we're at different, I don't know if a skill level is the right word, but I'll just use it for the sake of expediency. You know what I mean? And it's I'm still kind of integrating that concept in my brain, because except for very rare instances when we shift and awaken and what is the word? I can't think of it, but it goes along with the whole awakening process. When you elevate, when you move into another density or dimension. I shouldn't say move up, because that sounds it's in our common, I guess, parlance, moving up is already it's like you're at the top of a pyramid. That's our brains. Everything's a pyramid scheme. But we have the whole meritocracy thing, and like we have thinking about each other like as a lateral situation as opposed to somebody being over the other. That is hard for us to conceive of, but I think it has to do with which level or density or reality you are creating for yourself, because for centuries it has been okay to enslave. Like, still now we're kind of arguing with it. There's some of us are still like, hey, that's like a good idea. It's not even an argument. In places like Haiti, they're like enslaving each other, which, like, what is wrong with you? Do you not know your own history? Stop it. I think they were the ones that just said, we're not going to be slaves anymore. Fuck off, colonialists. And, well, I mean, it was more complicated that when it got to the F off part, that translated into violence. But that's my point. For the thousands of years, we've been violencing each other, and it's like, I can't be the only one that is like, are we done yet? Like, I get it. Men are stronger, gonna have a war, land, blah, 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 money, blah, blah, blah. Bored with it already. Ready to move on. But not everyone is there. So that's what I mean. Like, you can call the differences and the spaces and the separation and graduated levels, whatever you want to call it. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but we're meant to elevate to different levels of consciousness, which involves thinking, perception, compassion, empathy. Like, the more of those things you can employ when you're living your life, I think, is the goal of living the life. And you don't have to, like, go around and try to recruit or adopt people. Just the best advertising is, well, that person looks like they got it good. Like, they got it going on. They're happy. They're complete. They're unbothered. They're, like, just floating through life, like all of this chaos and bombs and cancellations and gags and, oh my God, all of the stuff that we scream and cry about just begins to be like, right, okay, I'm going on my way. I'm not participating in that. So I don't know if that's like a garble for people, because I don't do all of like the cool exclamations, and I don't have the graphics and the music and all of the Hollywood. Betty Rubble. I don't have all of that, so I hope at least it's making some sense what I was saying. But bottom line, oh my God, you are not disappeared. You're not diminished. You're not, like, no one's stopping the canceled people from doing anything but using that word as the most limp noodle sword ever. The end. But that's the Dream Thief card. The subtitle of this card is what's really catching my attention, because it's kind of like, well, I mean, it could work a number of ways. And what I just thought was, I refuse to hear the call of the wild canceled baboon, babu, whatever, that unit. I am so tired of it. It's like, it's BS, I guess, is what bugs me about it. But refusal of the call, I think, is also that refusal to let go of our violent history, for instance, like with the slavery, which enslavers are not picky. They don't care how old you are or what gender you are, or they don't really care about what you want out of life at all. You've been relieved of the responsibility of self. Really? well, you don't get to like parent yourself anymore. You don't get to be your own person. You're not independent. You're not allowed to be. Although, in a situation like that, it's almost like when your mind starts looking at things a lot differently, and like I said, you're still in the life and the stuff is going on all around you, and in some cases maybe things are going to happen to you that like you might feel like you should be protected from, but maybe it's happening to you because there's something that you're going to get out of the experience. Like it's happening to you for a reason. So I don't know how much longer this sort of. Well, actually, I have an idea. I have been advised by a couple of people that are more open to like the energies of timelines than I am, or they get like clearer messages from their guides and whatnot. But they say that things are not going to be like basically to everyone's satisfaction here in the U.S. at least, and probably the world too. But here in the U.S., it's going to take us like a decade to start like being nice to each other, appreciating each other, helping each other, being okay with the idea of helping each other, letting go of things like who sleeps with who and what the who's are in the sleeping situation. Like, to me, those are the kind of things that I feel like need vast improvement. And then there's other stuff like, yes, we'll get universal health care and start treating each other like human beings instead of convenient people to experiment on or like conduct evil deeds against or something like that. So like a decade away from that, and every new generation of kids that are born, yay for you people, come more of you, overtake the system, because we have not been doing it well or right, in my opinion. I shouldn't say that like it's all encompassing, because it's not. There's always, like a bright light here and there. So, I and other people have been talking about this a lot lately, that that 10-year period, like it's going to be a rough ride. Put on your seatbelt and buckle up and all of that stuff. So I'm not like disagreeing, but every day, like we get a chance to. We have a clean slate, basically, and the part of the thing that's been driving us so nutball cuckoo is the change. And what I've been asking for, I believe, is part of it, is like getting the violent element there, where it's like really, they're violently releasing that tendency, I guess. Like I said, the 10-year thing is going to take a while. But on the bright side, time seems to just be speeding up. So, I don't know, like a couple of years, like 1 year just went by like nothing. And don't get sidetracked. But, so every day gives us a new day to herald in the change in us, in our personality as a people. Location of origin, unimportant in my opinion. The people part is the important part that I care about. God, what am I? Can I speak my own language? I only got the one. Come on. So, what I said. I gave you the numbers. I don't think I'm gonna like talk about the numbers really today, but I give them so that if you're interested, you can do searches on the numerological aspect or the spiritual aspect or whatever, which is pretty much just what I do. Like, occasionally I'll get some sort of impression from the number or connection, but not today. So finally, discard the oyster. We know that the oysters, actually, I did not know until a few years ago, where I just randomly decided to take this pearl certification course. I had no intention of going into the business, because like everything, it costs money to start making money. So I was like, well, that was interesting, but I guess I'm not going to do it. But I learned some interesting things. Maybe they'll come in handy at some point. And I do like pearls. They're very beautiful, natural. Like, actually, they're kind of crazy. Do we all know the old saw about pearls, where it's an irritant that gets into the flesh of the pearl or the oyster, because it's sitting on the bed, the ocean floor. So, if it opens up, which they do for feeding or whatever, then occasionally some sand will get in there. And I guess it's sort of like a human getting a splinter, except that we don't grow a calcium coating around it to protect ourselves from getting stabbed by it and make a pearl out of the splinter. We just yank it out and hurt ourselves going the other direction. So, but an oyster will get, I suppose it could be a freaking piece of plastic particle these days, but that might make the color interesting. Let's see. It might, like, I did learn that various things affect the pearls that make them have colors, because do we all know they have, like, almost a rainbow array of color, the pearls? Anyway, so yeah, the irritant in the situation, like, if we're the oyster, or I don't know, let me try that again. If the world is our oyster, then we're the sand, making irritants, making wars and treating each other badly and doing all of the terrible things that happen in war and slavery and just abuse of people. Like, actually, we have like a situation with a famous guy here. I've talked about it a little bit, the Diddy guy. And apparently he was up to some raunchy, oppressive, terrible stuff for years, and for various reasons has had the carte blanche to do it, and blackmail was involved, a la Jeffrey Epstein, I guess. So just like all of those things are the stuff of nightmares, and do keep some of us up at night and steal our dreams. They steal our ability to properly, like, process and live, because we're not supposed to really be doing that to each other and enjoying it so much that we just, like, have done it for centuries. Like, oh my God, really? Like, we're so big on trends. Can't we kind of trend away from that into something else? So I guess what I'm saying is it's gonna be rough, but be optimistic, because that's like the way that we collectively designed our world and ourselves and everything that goes along with it and us. So not always great, not always innocent, happy, and celebratory, but sometimes it is, a lot of times, as well as the bad times. And it's almost like we're all, like, when we do the violence and all of those things, or I guess not almost like, it's like we're all processing this huge karmic thing that's, everyone's karma being processed all at once. Can you imagine that you have to imagine it is turbulent. I think that's what comes out from, I don't know, both the processing of it and the actions of it. of like all of the violence and the bad acts against each other. And in a way, I guess that's the worst thing of all, is that we're doing like against each other. But it's important to remember that none of this stuff is happening to us. Actually, like, this is just the attitude that I try to maintain about things, and I'm not like great at it. I've only taken this attitude for not that long. I don't have an exact day, like a couple of years, maybe a year, but I just am still like, I don't know, realigning my mind to think this way. But the events are not happening to us, against us. They are happening for us. We all, like, again, with the life blueprint, we make them, and it's all, like, it's not all about us. Like, it usually is never just all about us. Everything, all of us exist, and what we do exists for all of us to get something out of it, and it's all in some way connected, and it's not always visible, and we don't even ever always know that these things are happening. There's a lot of things that go on, sort of like, I don't know the details of what's happening with my bodily processes, but I know something's happening, because if they weren't happening, I'd be dead. So a lot of stuff goes on that we're not cognizant of, and we don't need to be, like, we just gotta kind of do our part and do the best we can. I don't know, like, in a way, if I can look at it that way, it makes it all a little bit easier to swallow that, like, the things are happening and that they feel so awful sometimes. But I just want to, like, underline the fact that there is joy to be had even in the most horrible situations. And I'll tell you what, lately, if you are just relaxed and sitting around and not, like, really dwelling on any of that kind of irritant in your tender flesh type situations, you may feel what I feel. And sometimes you feel sadness or anger that you're just like, wait a minute, why? But it could be that you're sensitive to people around you, like you maybe have walked into a room and known that something was up, that kind of thing. But just like loose in the air. And my favorite is when I'm just sitting there and I'm just all happy, and I don't even know why, but I don't care, because it feels good. So I like try to be open to that all the time, because I like it. You get the other stuff, unfortunately, too. But in those instances, it's not as harsh as the out in the world stuff, and it moves by like wind, kind of. So it's over fast. Like, you're not really suffering. You're just like having a twinge of, like, I don't know, like memory, nostalgia, but it's not really like anything of yours. It's just like, I'm just saying, maybe it's not like something, because we all have different capabilities sense-wise, but I don't know. Maybe check it out. It's kind of cool. Thank you, and good night.